Hey everyone, it's Nicole Mitchell on this beautiful Friday morning or Friday afternoon or whatever day that you're watching it on, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm going to talk about something I addressed in one of my Facebook Live videos that I did this week. If you happen to see it, I posted it I think 2 days ago, and the Facebook Live video was called Miracles Can Become a Way of Life. And it was powerful, and in that video I saw the comment, your circumstances do not determine your worth. Your circumstances do not dictate your future. And there is so much power in this one statement that I wanted to unpack it today in this video and give you some practical tips on how to embody that truth. Because for so many of us, one of our most natural tendencies to do is to look to our circumstances to tell us how well we're doing, how good we're doing. And there is some good in looking at our circumstances to figure out, okay, where are we at in life? Are we happy where we're at in life? But instead of just looking to circumstances to give us feedback, we look to our circumstances to have it tell us what our worth is and what we are worthy of. And that's where we get things wrong. And that's especially because for some people who are watching this, you might have just been thrust into fame and wealth and celebrity status, and it's jarring. Like, you're looking around at your circumstances and you don't recognize yourself. You don't recognize where you're at, and you start to panic, right? Because you don't feel worthy of this, or you're not sure where to look to anchor yourself down as you're thrust into this new circumstance. Some of you who are watching have been thrusted into a divorce you did not see coming, right? And then there's some people who just feel stuck, right? Their circumstances are the same day in and day out, and their routine has become mundane. And they've lost inspiration to where they now feel, or where you now feel, indifferent at best, or resentful and angry or bitter at worst, right? And so we're on the spectrum of life. We all have our own journey. We're all in different situations, and we tend to think people on the other side of the spectrum have it better than us. But what you'll find in this video is that it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, if you're super famous and wealthy, or you have no money and only your family knows you. This is a struggle for every human. Is that when we look to our circumstances, we are putting our power in a source that is outside of us, that can be changed at any moment without our notice, without our permission, without our approval. Circumstances can change, and that can be for good or that can be for worse. But if we put our worthiness in something external that can change or shift at any moment, that can throw us off, and that can put us into a tailspin, and we can end up in a dark place if a situation or circumstances didn't go in the direction that we wanted it to. And that has happened a lot of times to a lot of people. And so it's so important we find our worthiness somewhere outside of something that can be changed without our permission. So when we look to our circumstances to figure out what we're worthy of and our worthiness in general, because our circumstances can change at any moment, what happens is we can start to panic. We can start having anxiety, we feel overwhelmed, and we shut down. So this is why it's so important to remember that we have to turn inward to find our worthiness. It is not in something external. We turn inward to discover, or maybe rediscover and remember our worthiness. And I'm looking down at my notes because I was scribbling out so many notes for this video. Because where you are, there your worth is, right? Which is good, because that means that no matter what circumstance you find yourself in, you are there and your worthiness can be with you, right? So if you're thrust into a situation that you don't feel worthy of, that's okay, because in here is your worthiness, and you just tap into it, and you are worthy of this circumstance or the situation that you think is too good to be true. But what if it's good and true? And it's for you, and you're worthy of it. We tap in here. Or if you find yourself in a circumstance or a situation that does not serve you, that is not where you want to be, that you know you are worthy of more than this, that's good too. That's good that you know that. By tapping into here, we know what we are worthy of. We're able to turn inward and trust our desires and trust ourselves and find out what it is that we want, so that when we find ourselves in a situation that does not serve us, we can say that. We can say out loud that truth. That this situation I'm in, maybe it's not bad, maybe it's okay, maybe there's lots of good parts to it, but something inside of you is saying, I want something more. I want something different. Like, we need to learn to trust ourselves and to trust our intuition, to trust what we're feeling in here, because that's given us a clue about our circumstances. And the good news is if you're not happy with your circumstances, you can change it, because again, your circumstances do not dictate your future. They do not dictate your future, right? It is up to you to decide if your circumstances work for you. And if they don't, then great, you can change it, because here's the truth. When we take the time to get still and to turn inward, to figure out what is it that I do want out of life, what is it that I want for myself, what are my desires, what are my dreams, then we know what to do with our life. But when we're running through life frantically and we're always so busy, we're not taking a moment to be still, we end up not knowing what we want out of life. And we just have this general feeling of aimlessness, dissatisfaction, and indifference, when life is freaking beautiful. We should be thrilled to wake up every morning because we have the power to create the life we want to live. But it does require to stop and be still for a moment to say, what is it that I really want out of life? Barring any opinion, barring any judgment, all right? Assume there's just no judgment attached to it. What do you want out of life? Then do it. Go after it. It's yours. And there's a whole nother video I'll be doing, and possibly a bundle about this idea of the dreams and desires we have are unique to us. And if we have them, it's meant for us. It's meant for us to live out. So those desires you have in you aren't dumb, lame, weird, greedy, selfish. No, they're yours, and they're meant for you, and they're meant for you during this lifetime. And so we need to trust ourselves and take the time to tap into ourselves to figure out, what the heck do I want out of life, and go after it. And if you're listening to this and you're finding nope, impossible. It is impossible to change my circumstances. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I've tried in the past, therefore I can't do it. Right there. If you think that you've tried in the past and you've not been able to succeed, you're buying into the belief that your circumstances dictate your future, that you cannot change your circumstances, okay? And I'm telling you that you can. But if you're finding that hard to believe, I have a homework assignment for you. I want you to click on my Facebook link down below in the description box, and I want you to watch the Facebook Live video I did 2 days ago called Miracles Can Become a Way of Life. And you'll find out that the very thing we think is impossible is totally possible. And I give you examples from my own life, and I give you tips on how that can become true for you. So if you feel like getting out of your circumstances and creating the life you want is impossible, I want you to go watch that video as soon as this one is done, okay? Also, what I want you to do is not only watch that Facebook Live video that I did, I also want you to do something every day that inspires you. Here's the thing, we have a new beginning every freaking day. And in fact, you can have multiple new beginnings in a day, but that's another conversation. So you have at least 7 new chances a week to have a new beginning. So every single day, do something that inspires you. That can be as simple as yoga. Maybe going to yoga or some exercise class helps grounds you and you feel on top of the world and you feel so good. Then go do that. Maybe it's going to a concert where you can just be surrounded by and filled with music that feeds your soul and that serves you. Go to that concert. Or be like me. Maybe it's cheesy, but I don't care if it is, because it works for me. What I do is I listen to inspirational movie and TV soundtracks. When I turn that kind of music on, I feel unstoppable. Right? So you want to do something every day that inspires you, especially if you're finding yourself in circumstances that do not serve you, that do not inspire you, that don't make you happy to wake up every day. Like, even if your life is good in so many ways and you want more out of it, that's okay too. I can't tell you how many people I talk to who tell me basically they're dissatisfied with life, they want more from life, but then they have to tell me a million reasons why their life is good. Their life is good. They have good people in their life and they're grateful. It's as if like by wanting more, you're automatically ungrateful for everything else. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be both and. I am both so grateful for the good that's happening in my life, and I want more. It does not have to be an either or. We operate in this either or mindset, and I'm trying to like stop that from happening and break that down because it drives me crazy. We do a disservice to ourselves when we think in an either or mindset. You can have so many good things in your life and want more. That does not make you selfish, greedy, or bad. That makes you you. What you're wanting more of is meant for you. So you can have both. You can have this good in your life and you can have extra. You can have more. Like, there's no one saying like, oh, you've capped out of your good quota. Like, you're good for life. Like, if there's something more you want from life, go get it. Okay, sorry, that's like a tangent. So what I do when I like listen to this inspirational TV and movie soundtracks, it helps me feel my way, because I'm a very feely person, feel my way into my worthiness, into my power, into my inspiration, into my dreams, so that I'm reminded every single day that I can create the life that I want. Okay, so this is your homework. I'm kind of wrapping it up now. Watch my Facebook Live video called Miracles Can Become a Way of Life. Unless you're watching this video later, my goal is to eventually upload that Facebook Live video to this YouTube channel. So if you're watching this video much later than today, in May of 2018, look to the right and see if the Miracles Can Be a Way of Life is there, and you can watch it there. Also, do something every day that inspires you. So for me, I do one of these things every day. I either listen to an inspiring soundtrack, I go to my ULA dance class twice a week, I journal, I read and say my daily affirmations out loud, I meditate. And this is like, those are like more serious. I'm very intentional about doing those things for my input. But even something that's as simple as, now that it's finally warm in Minnesota, I find it so life-giving to walk to my local co-op and buy myself a decaf iced caramel latte. Like, that feeds me, right? Because I can finally go outside and get fresh air and appreciate all the beauty around me. When I walk, it's almost like a gratitude walk. Not always super intentional, but I just see all these beautiful things and I name them and I celebrate them on this walk to get one of my favorite drinks. So, but you do whatever inspires you. Something as simple, taking a 5-minute walk, or going to that workout class that you love, or listening to your favorite podcast, or like do something that inspires you, because input equals output, right? So what you're putting into yourself, you're going to see reflected out here. Your internal world reflects outside, right? And so we want to do the internal work. And this is why I'm so passionate about my work as a life coach, is that I help my clients do the internal work so they can have the external change in their circumstances that they want, so they can have the external transformation they want. But my clients know that the work has to start in here. We can try to start out here and do a veneered fix to our circumstances, but because our input equals output, we do work at the level of input, so then the output can have the change that my clients want. So if you're wanting to take this a whole new level outside of watching my videos and doing something inspiring every day, apply to work with me. I so believe in my work. It is so powerful, and it is for anyone, for anywhere you're on the spectrum of life. You're way over here and you're thrust into a circumstance that you didn't see coming, but you're so grateful for, but you're kind of freaking out and you need help getting grounded. Oh my gosh, I can help you do that. I would love to do that. Or you're over here and you have found yourself thrusted into a situation or circumstance that does not serve you, that is causing you to freak out and you don't know what to do. I'm here to support you. Or maybe you're here somewhere in the middle where you just feel stuck and you know you were meant for more and you want more out of life, but you don't know where to begin. Apply to work with me. I'll put my link below because it's NicoleMitchell.com/coaching, and you are worthy of being invested in, and it is an investment you would never regret. Okay, remember, your circumstances do not dictate your worth, and your circumstances do not determine your future, and input equals output. Got it? All right, go watch my Facebook Live video. Do something inspiring today to remind you you are worthy of the life you want to live. All right, bye guys.